Have you ever been told you're too quiet, that your silence is a weakness, that maybe you just don't have what it takes? What if I told you the opposite is true, that silence can be your greatest strength? This is the story of Rohan, a quiet boy who showed the world that you don't need to shout to be strong. You don't need noise to make an impact. Sometimes silence speaks louder than words. In a small town near the king's palace, there lived a boy named Rohan. He was unlike the other children. He didn't laugh loudly. He didn't fight to prove himself. He spoke only when it truly mattered. While the other children raced through the streets, shouting and playing, Rohan often sat by the river, alone but not lonely. He watched the sunlight dance on the water, listened to the songs of birds, and noticed the wind as it kissed the leaves of the trees. He noticed things others didn't, and he understood things others overlooked. People thought he was strange. Some laughed. "He never speaks. He must be weak," they whispered. Even teachers doubted him, thinking he was slow or shy. But Rohan didn't argue. He didn't raise his voice. He simply smiled and walked away. Deep down, he carried a truth no one else could see. Silence was not weakness. Silence was power. One morning, the town square was alive with energy. Drums echoed, trumpets blared, and the king himself rode in on a magnificent horse. A soldier carried a gleaming chest beside him, catching the sunlight. The king raised his hand and spoke, his voice booming over the crowd. "People of the kingdom, I seek a boy who is not only strong but wise, not only brave but patient. A competition will be held. The winner will serve in my palace under the royal advisor and receive this chest of gold coins." The crowd gasped. Children dreamed of the treasure. Families imagined the wealth and honor it could bring. Every boy wanted to compete. They stood tall, proud, ready to prove themselves. And then there was Rohan, quiet, calm, standing at the back. The others laughed. "He doesn't even speak. How can he win?" But Rohan didn't answer. He simply waited, his calm presence standing in contrast to the chaos around him. The king announced 3 challenges. Only the boy who completed all 3 with patience, wisdom, and careful thought would win. The first test: cross the wide rushing river outside the town, without a boat. The signal was given. Boys jumped in recklessly, splashing, panicking, and slipping on slick rocks. Many shouted for help, frustrated or scared. Rohan paused. He studied the river. He noticed the currents, the gentle eddies between the rocks, the places where the water whispered instead of roared. Slowly, deliberately, he placed each step, balancing with care. No rushing, no fear, only patience. By the time he reached the other side, many boys were soaked, tired, or injured. The king's advisor whispered to the others, "This boy may be slow, but he sees what others cannot." The second test: find a rare white flower hidden among hundreds of green plants in the royal garden within 15 minutes. The moment the challenge began, the other boys ran wildly, tearing through bushes, pushing each other aside, shouting in panic. Rohan did not move immediately. He stood quietly, observing. Then he noticed a small detail: the butterflies. They fluttered toward a hidden corner of the garden, and Rohan followed them calmly. There, under thick leaves, he found the white flower, untouched and perfect. Gently, he picked it and carried it to the king, just as the time ended. The judges looked astonished. "How did you find it so quickly?" they asked. Rohan replied softly, "If you are silent enough, nature shows you the way." The final test: answer the king's question in the royal hall. The king's voice echoed through the chamber. "What is stronger than a sword, yet makes no sound?" Boys shouted answers. Gold, courage, knowledge. None were correct. Finally, it was Rohan's turn. He entered silently, bowed, and paused, feeling the weight of the question. Then, in a calm, soft voice, he said, "Patience, my king." The hall fell silent. The king leaned forward, curious. "Why patience?" Rohan looked the king in the eye. "A sword may win battles, but patience wins hearts. A sword can cut, but patience can heal. A sword creates fear, but patience builds respect, and respect lasts far longer than fear." The king smiled slowly, then stood and clapped. "Young boy, you have spoken with wisdom. You have spoken with truth." The next day, the king's messenger announced to the town, "The winner of the king's challenge, the chest of gold coins, and the honor of serving in the royal palace is Rohan, the quiet boy." Some were shocked. Some whispered, "He never speaks." But the village elder smiled knowingly. "Do you see now? Sometimes the one who speaks the least understands the most." Rohan served in the palace. He spoke little, but when he did, people listened because his words were thoughtful, measured, and meaningful. Years passed. Rohan became known across the kingdom, not as the loudest, but as the wisest. And perhaps, my friend, this is for you. If anyone ever told you that you are too quiet, don't believe them. Silence is not weakness. It is listening. It is learning. And one day, it will become your greatest strength. Don't waste energy proving yourself with noise. Prove yourself with patience, with action, with wisdom. Because true success does not always shout, but it always leaves a mark.